Hey everyone, Christina Whiteley here, realtor with Fabulous Homes Colorado, powered by Keller Williams Freedom. And this is Fabulous Neighbors of Colorado, where we feature local businesses and entrepreneurs. And you might recognize this face. Everybody knows Brenda, it seems like. But we've already featured her once at her book signing, which was, again, I can't thank you enough for inviting us. Jennifer and I both left and were like, wow. And we woke up the next morning, I was still on a high from watching you. So it was amazing. Really,
it was a lot of fun.
A beautiful moment to be able to share with you.
Yes, thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah, so this is Brenda Sanchez. She's the author of Life's Real Currency. And mind if I hold up your book?
Sure.
One of the authors of Life's Real Currency.
I was going to say one of.
Yeah, Michael couldn't be with us today. We'll zoom in. I love this book. And I've given it several copies away, as you know.
Yes.
And we'll do a drawing for it again. But I love this book. I read it in just a couple hours. I couldn't put it down. Everybody that I knew that owned their own business, I said, you've got to read this book. And I just kept buying it and kept buying it. So tell us, what was your inspiration for the book and kind of the story?
So, let's see. It was February 2015, so almost 4 years ago. We were at a relationship marketing seminar, master relationship marketing seminar, and shortly after that we went to a Tony Robbins seminar. And at that Tony Robbins seminar, there was a gentleman there by the name of Jerry Robert, who ended up being our publisher, which is with Publish a Book and Grow Rich. Okay. And he was offering a seminar the following weekend or a few weekends later after the Tony Robbins up in Denver. And Mike has always thought he had a book in him. He didn't know what it was, but he had told me multiple times, I think I got a book in me. And I'm like, okay. So we decided to go because it was a very good offer that he offered for a 3-day seminar for both of us. And at that seminar, we were like, I don't know, we're sitting there. But as we went through the seminar and toward the end of the seminar, we realized that what we had learned through the years in doing, working with businesses and teaching them relationship marketing, and through the seminar we had just been to, that many people said to us that we have a way of doing the Cliff Notes version. And so we kind of decided that weekend maybe we need to put that in a book because then we can reach more people.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, it was a very easy read. I mean, I just was sitting at a doctor's appointment reading through it. I loved it. I thought it was great. And you had told me, I think it'll take you about 2 hours to sit down and read it. So what is the purpose of this book?
The purpose is to teach businesses how to grow their business through building relationships, because business is all built on a know, like, and trust basis. Yeah. And if you don't build that, if you're just chasing the next sale, which many business owners do, and they aren't building the business, there's a lot of holes in their business and it's leaking out. So as quick as you're filling the top, it's leaking out the bottom, and we want to teach businesses how to plug those holes and to retain their current customers and build raving fans that then send referrals.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Well, I have a bunch of notes just on the front, so we'll go over those, I guess, and if you want to elaborate on anything. So I put ROI. What is ROI? It's not what everybody has traditionally heard it. You have a totally different meaning.
We do. So most people think of ROI as return on investment. You hear that all the time in business. What is your ROI? What is your ROI? What is your return on investment? But Mike and I coined the phrase relationship optimized income, because if you're not building relationships in your business, you're not optimizing your income. So we say ROI is relationship optimized income.
I love that. I think it's great. And you reference a few times, make your focus the relationship and not the sale.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, because when you focus on the relationship, the sale comes. So, for instance, when you build relationships with friends in your life, it's never a sale. If you've talked to somebody 5, 6, 7, 10 times, and you're talking about life, not just about business, then the sale comes naturally. They want to know what you do. They want to know how you can help them, versus it being a sales pitch all the time.
Sure, I like that. And then separate yourselves from the naysayers and your fears. That's a hard one.
It is a hard one, and writing a book is a good example. It's very scary, and there's a lot of naysayers out there, especially for business owners. If you're a business owner, don't listen to the naysayers. There's always somebody out there. We live in a world of negativity. 87% negative is what we're surrounded by. And people think of crabs in a bucket. Have you ever seen crabs in a bucket? And where the crabs are trying to get out and they're pulling them back down? Well, that's life, is people are trying to pull you back down, and you're looking for the person that's up at the top of the bucket trying to lift you out. And so don't listen to the naysayers. Hang around with people, like-minded people, or people that are more successful than you, and you will be elevated in your business.
Okay, I love that analogy of the crabs in the bucket. I've never thought of it as that way, so that was really cool. Another thing that you mentioned was have a grateful heart.
Yes. So start every day, not just in business, but in life in general. There's oodles of studies out there on happiness and gratitude and how gratitude plays into that. But it plays into better health, better sleeping, better relationships, better business. You're more successful. Gratitude is at the core of everything. If you start every single day before you ever get out of bed and write down 3 to 5 things you're grateful for, or reach out and send a text or a card to 3 to 5 people that you're thinking of that morning, it's going to completely change your day. The other thing is, if you do that before you go to bed, they say that you sleep much better, because when you think about most people before they go to bed, they've got the news on, or they've got very negative, or they're watching movies that are they could be shoot 'em up type movies.
Sure.
They could be not necessarily negative, but negative in nature.
Right.
And then that's what your brain is thinking about when you're sleeping all night long. So you don't sleep as well. Whereas if you, before you go to bed, you write 3 to 5 things you're grateful for that day, or 3 to 5 things you're grateful in life for, then you sleep much better. And I have a friend, she just posted this on Facebook the other day. What she does is once a week, she has a jar, and she has sticky notes beside it. And once a week, she writes one thing that she's grateful for, or one thing that was a success that week in her life or in her business. And then on New Year's Eve, she dumps them all out on the table and reads everything. And then it's like a journal of what you've accomplished in the year. So many people concentrate on what they didn't accomplish. Well, what about what you did accomplish, and where you are today versus where you were a year ago?
Yeah, I love that idea. I think that's wonderful. Knowledge is not power unless you do something with it.
So a perfect example of it is shelf help. Have you ever heard shelf help?
No.
So how many people have bought tons of books, and they're sitting on a shelf in their office or in their living room or their study, but they've never actually picked it up and read it?
Yeah.
The only way knowledge is power is when you read it and you learn it and then you implement it.
Right.
So it's all about implementing what you learn. That's how knowledge becomes power.
Okay. Perfect. And then you used a three-legged stool analogy, which I thought was really cool. Do you want to break down the three-legged stool for us?
Sure. So we like to think of business as a three-legged stool, and most people don't want to think of it that way because the three legs are yourself, others, and business. And if you're not the best you, if you don't gain knowledge, if you don't read, if you don't become the best version of you, then you aren't giving the best version of you away. So you're not serving your customers or your prospects in the best way.
Okay.
And if you're not focusing on others, I don't know about you, but I don't know of a business out there that can survive without customers or without people.
Oh, no.
So you have to have the best you. You have to have a circle of people around you to have a good business. And then, of course, the business leg. So it really is like a three-legged stool. And think about it. If one leg is missing on a three-legged stool, is the stool very effective?
No, you're going to fall.
Yeah, you're going to fall. It's pretty wonky. So think about that. I don't have a three-legged stool here, but let's say one's missing, and this is your business on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to slide right off. So if you don't create the best you and give it away to others, you won't have a successful business.
I think that's a great, something we can visualize too and remind ourselves to, think of a stool. And then it's like, okay, yeah. So that's neat. I loved this one. It actually made me giggle when I read it. We're always 6 inches away. And what is that, 6 inches? I laughed. People looked at me when I read that. I thought it was hilarious.
So my husband came up with that, although we've heard it through Tony Robbins and many other, probably John Maxwell and others, is that it's the 6 inches between your ears is what holds you back. It's the stinking thinking.
It's true. I mean, I loved it. I was like, when I read that, I was like, aha. We talk about aha moments a lot, and that was a big aha moment for me. I thought that was really neat. I loved all the stories of triumph in the book because it's always nice to read about, other people that overcame too. Follow up a lot. It is cheaper to keep an existing customer and value your employees as well. Do you want to?
Yes. So we've all heard that it's 5 to 6 or 7 times more expensive to gain a new client than it is to keep an existing one. Yet 80 to 90% of businesses focus on going after the new sale instead of spending their money on people that are already spending money with them. So it's about appreciating the people that are already in your circle, and that grows your business. Because when you create raving fans, we've all heard word of mouth marketing is the best marketing, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you can get that word of mouth marketing working for you, you never have to market.
Right, and it's free.
Yeah, it's free.
I think that's great. Some other notes I wrote from the book: be inquisitive, forget everything you know, stop holding yourself back, and don't settle into routine. I thought those were great. And don't become stagnant. I remember that night you kind of elaborated on that. Be willing to change as the times change. Do you want to go over the don't become stagnant? I liked how you guys talked about it that night that we filmed you.
Sure. So we like to say, don't be stagnant. Think about something that you know in life that's stagnant, like a stagnant pond or a stagnant body of water. Describe that to me.
Well, it stinks.
It stinks. Do you want your business to stink?
No.
So you don't want to be stagnant. You want to be able to constantly be learning new and keep your options open. Keep your imagination open to new things. So many times business owners are like, yep, done that, tried that, didn't work. But just because it didn't work 6 months ago or a year ago doesn't mean that now isn't the right time for it. And maybe you just need to tweak what you were doing a little bit and it could be super successful. So we say have an inquisitive mind or a beginner's mindset. If you have an expert mindset, and most business owners unfortunately think they're experts because that's why they started their business, is they think they're an expert in it. But the problem is when you think you're an expert, you stop learning because you think you know it all. And there is always a better way of doing stuff. And if you keep a beginner mindset, think about a child. Why? What's that? Why? If we keep that type of a mindset, even as adults and as business owners, we're going to thrive in the business community because we're always looking for ways to work around obstacles instead of seeing obstacles as a wall that can't be torn down.
Okay. Consumers are doing research, comparing, and shopping with smartphones because they were burned by past marketing, and you say email ads are not effective, which I can attest to because I just delete them. I don't even open them because I get so many emails.
Exactly. You know, 10, 15 years ago, the internet was new and email marketing was new, and it was the fresh new way of doing things and a new way of reaching out to people, but it's overwhelming today. Like you said, you get a lot of it in your inbox. I went this past weekend, I had over 600 emails that I hadn't read.
Jeez.
And I would say 90% or more of them, all I did was say delete, unless the subject line really caught my attention or it was something I was looking for, or I knew it was a response to something I sent out, or I could tell that it was a personal email. I didn't open it. And the thing is, I've subscribed to all those newsletters. And I would love to be able to read all of that. But who has the time to do it? We just don't have the time. So it's an overused tool that has become burdensome for people.
Oh, I agree. And we rarely get letters in the mail, handwritten cards. You really referenced a few times in the book, which I'm all about. And actually, we're going to tell you about handwritten cards very soon in our next video because she has a solution for that too.
Yes.
80% of your business comes from 20% of your customers, so provide great service.
Exactly. So if you've ever heard of the Joe Girard story, Joe Girard is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's greatest salesman. He sold the most cars in I believe it was a 13-year period. Don't quote me on that. He sold 13,001 cars, and I can't remember. And he did and one.
I like that.
Yeah, that's probably what got him in the Guinness Book of World Records. But the way he did that is he learned the law of 250, and he learned that through weddings and funerals. And that he talked to the pastor at the wedding, and he talked to the funeral director at a funeral, and said, how do you know how many programs to print? How do you know how many people to expect? And both gave them the answer, everybody knows about 250 people. And so he thought, I can either treat this person really well, and then they're going to speak really well about me to 250 people, or if I don't make them happy, then that's 250 people that I'm probably going to be talked about negatively. So what he did was he implemented cards into his business, and being a car salesman, he started out and it just had a smiley face on the front, and in the inside said, I think it said, I like you. And he signed it.
Cool.
So if they came into the dealership, they got that card. And he learned the power of sending cards. And so after a while, it got so big, because he had so many clients, that he actually commissioned somebody to build a card every single month for him. And it went out at the height of his business. He was sending about 13,000 cards a month. A month. So those of you who think that 5, 10, 15 cards a month is too many, go read Joe Girard's story. And he's very successful, and he became a speaker and a trainer on how he did that. And it was all through gratitude and appreciation and staying in touch with the people that were past clients and current clients, because especially in real estate,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know this, is how often does somebody purchase a house?
Yeah, and then we keep in touch with everybody, and you become the family realtor, and that's
Ex-
what we love. That's our goal, is to
Exactly.
be your trusted real estate source. You buy a home with me, I'm going to be the one to help you sell it, because we've kept
Right.
in touch, and so yeah.
Exactly. But
Very
most people, most real estate agents, when the sale closes, they're on to
They're
the
done.
next
They're
one.
done.
They're done, and they're on to the next one. And 6 months from the day of the closing, a lot of times the homeowners can't even tell you who the real estate agent
Yep.
was. So it's about staying top of mind and top of heart, because you never know when they've got a friend or a family member or somebody moving in town or needing to upsize or downsize, and then you'll get that referral.
Yep, absolutely. Nope, we keep in touch. It's very
Mhm.
important to me, and build that relationship. It's not just a sale like you were saying.
Exactly.
It's always been, build a relationship. They have a
Mhm.
baby, they'll let me know, and it's always an honor to be included in that. And
Yes.
I'm like, oh, that's nice that they included me in that little moment of theirs, so.
Yep. When you get those birth announcements or the wedding announcements
Yes,
from your
it's
past
incredible.
clients, it's so much fun.
It is, yeah, and then the referral, it's still, you jump up and down still, you do a happy dance still, it
Mhm.
never gets old, so
Yep.
I think it's great. Well, we don't have, everybody here that was here for the book signing, but you guys did something at the very end that we didn't even know was gonna happen. Jennifer and I were both choking up and talked about it when we left. So if you wanna go over that was it was beautiful, just so you know, it was
Thank
beautiful.
you.
We had no idea. We were both really taken off guard, so.
No problem. Well, through our book sales, we do have a nonprofit that we support, and I'll let her zoom in. Of course, it'll probably be backwards, but Angels of America's Fallen.
So just walk through it. Because you all have a history.
Yes, we do. So, Angels of America's Fallen, and the reason why we chose this charity is because they support first responders and veterans, the children of those that are fallen. So, and then my husband, thank
Yes.
you. And then my husband has had over 40 years in law enforcement. So this was a charity that touches both of us, because it touches both of our lives and both of our careers, and it's a charity that supports both professions. So we love that they support the children.
Yeah.
So when a soldier or a firefighter or a police officer is fallen and is lost in the line of duty, or even not, so they support even when it's not in the line of duty, and they support the children from whatever age they're at, as young as 2 all the way up until between 16 and 18 years old. So they provide them activities. So if they're a swimmer, or they're basketball or gymnastics or whatever their activity is that they want to do, they will pay for that activity until they are an adult, because they want to be consistent, and they don't want to be a charity that's there one year and not the next for the family, and they support the whole family. And there are hundreds, I don't know how many are on the list right now. I want to say it's over 400 people, kids are on the list to be sponsored. So we wanted to support them. So a portion of the proceeds from every book sold goes to Angels of America's Fallen.
It is so amazing. And yes, we do thank you guys for your service. It's incredible. And you can check Brenda, Military Mondays.
Yes.
She does an interview every Monday, correct? Facebook Live.
Yep, I do a Facebook Live. Sometimes it's an interview. Sometimes you just get to hear from me.
Well, we love hearing from you and the interviews too, so.
Yes, so every single Monday morning at 8 a.m. Mountain Time on my Facebook wall. So you just have to go to my Facebook wall, which is Brenda Sanchez, and you'll find my Military Mondays.
I think it's wonderful. Thank you for coming back again. We just couldn't get enough of you. So we had to do it
Thank
twice.
you.
So we'll definitely get her information in the description below. And if you would like to be featured, just reach out and let me know. Remember who to call for all of your fabulous real estate needs. And definitely grab a copy of Life's Real Currency if you're not one of our drawing winners. You will not regret it. It will change your business. I think your life too. I think
Thank
so.
you.
I thought it was great. So thanks everyone. Make it a fabulous day.